I enjoy the music. Like, the music is so pretty when I play it. It's just, like, beautiful.
I'm able to share my talents with other people, and it's just a really great feeling to be able to share my emotion and my feeling with them as I play music.
Music can help with just about everything because music makes it so your brain works better.
The philosophy of Dr. Suzuki is that every child can. Every child can learn a musical instrument. Every child can achieve. Every child can be educated, and every child has talent. The Suzuki Method curriculum is a well-considered series of musical pieces designed to introduce, implement, and review musical techniques through more challenging pieces as the child progresses. The Suzuki Method begins when the child is born. The immersion of music, sounds, and language is something that they learn by ear. The age of greatest receptivity for children is 3. This is why age 3 to 5 is ideal to begin Suzuki lessons, because the children are eager to please. They delight in repetition. They have great enthusiasm for learning. They have more time for listening and practicing before other activities, such as school or extracurricular activities, compete for their time. They are also more neurologically receptive to oral learning. Although the greatest age of receptivity is between 3 and 5 years old, the Suzuki Method is still applicable for all ages.
Dr. Suzuki discovered that children at a very young age could learn music just as they learned their native tongue, through what he called the mother tongue method. Throughout this process, children learn diligence, respect, hard work, patience, and perseverance, and obtain a feeling of self-fulfillment when goals are reached. What parents need to realize when they start their child on an instrument is that they're setting them up for endless possibilities later on down the road.
The Suzuki Method is an all-around approach to the ideal way of playing. It teaches you to play the instrument and not merely notes.
When a student begins the Suzuki Method, the responsibility falls more to the parent than it does on the child until they are old enough to practice on their own.
The Suzuki triangle is made up of 3 points: the parent, the child, and the teacher. One without the other leaves the triangle incomplete.
Well, for us, the Suzuki triangle, parent, student, teacher, works really well. We have a motivated daughter. We're committed as parents to follow through and practice, understanding that the majority of the practice and the lessons don't take place with the teacher, they're going to take place at home. Our triangle is strong because we get solid support from Corinne. She has expectations of Maya. She's not just there to let her spend her lesson time there, but to actually focus on detail and really pull out the best she can from Maya.
The parent's responsibility is vital in the lessons. First of all, they are required to attend all of the lessons and take notes. They're also the ones who practice with the child at home. We also call this the home teacher.
Making sure that the practicing happens with Olivia and that it doesn't just happen, that we're not just clocking in the time every day, but that we're doing it specifically how Corinne instructs us to practice, that we're isolating the parts that we need to isolate, we're drilling the parts that we need to, and really practicing with a purpose. And it's very difficult as a parent to have my child practice every day because it doesn't come natural to want to be disciplined. At least for most kids, it's not a natural thing. So I have to remember, well, she has a teacher for a reason, she has a parent for a reason, and that's my role as a parent. And it's a gift that I'm giving her to nurture this talent that she has.
As a Suzuki parent, I found I had to make it a priority to practice with my children every day, just as preparing meals or helping them with homework. And I learned that the teacher and the parent had to be 100% involved with the child.
Reinforcing what we see in the lessons is very important at home. Because it gives us specific goals. When we go back to the lesson the next week, we're able to mark and measure those goals and to see how we've done, and not just practice just to practice, but to have focused practice.
The differences with the Suzuki method compared to other disciplines like ballet and gymnastics and other activities like that, sports, is that you're not just dropping off your child at that activity and then coming back in an hour and asking them how it went. You're there at the lesson, you're taking notes, you're almost scripting the teacher because you want to use the same languaging, the same phrases that the teacher's using with your child to help them retain everything. Every single day there's practicing happening with me to make sure that it's happening in a constructive way. And that's to me the beauty of the Suzuki method, is that every day they're getting consistency in their practicing.
The student is responsible for listening to the reference recordings, for practicing each and every day, and for completing the assignments given by the teacher.
Practicing slowly is important because then you can find parts to work on.
Well, when you first start, it's like you say every single finger and where it's supposed to go, and you repeat it over and over and over again all the time until you can remember it. But then once you get better, then it gets easier and easier, and then you don't have to really think about it. It's just like you hear something and you can play it easier.
To be a good violinist, I have to practice and listen to my mom and go to lessons and listen to my CDs, review my pieces. When I learn a new technique, I practice it on old review songs, and that is why it is important to review. To be a good Suzuki student, I have to practice every single day, review a lot, and listen to my mom and my teacher, and I have to want it if I want to be good. Review is important because other songs are important just as the new ones are, and if someone asks you to play an old song and you don't remember it, then you can't play it for them and they'll be sad.
At the very beginning, you always listen to everything, probably 50, 60 times, who knows how many times you listen to it, but it gets it into your head and then it's way easier to do.
As students recognize their progress, they see the endless possibilities that lie ahead, such as music scholarships to college, teaching, playing in professional symphonies, or forming quartets with friends for different events. The discipline required to be successful carries through to other facets of their lives.
My favorite thing to do with my violin is probably just playing it at home and around, playing songs that I really love.
Also, it's given me an opportunity to get jobs in the music business and opportunities for later, like teaching violin. It's a really great way to provide for yourself. And then I think lastly, it's brought me closer to people I love and to God, because I'm able to share my feelings about them and feelings about God in the music I play. And so I guess music really allows me to live life the way I choose to.
I would love to play in a symphony one day. I would just love it because then I would be someone famous that plays in a symphony with many other people that impress people in the crowd.
I think I'll probably just keep playing my violin and probably teach my kids how to do it later too.
We got started at our local music store with the Suzuki Method, and I was growing really frustrated at how quickly things were skipped over. I felt technique wasn't there, and without technique you can't really have real progress. I knew something wasn't right and we were ready to give up. You need to make sure that the teacher is a good fit for your child, not only a teacher that gets along well with your child, but a teacher that will challenge them and help them to grow.
It's important to find a teacher that's a match for the student. And with Corinne and Cami, we found the opportunity to have a nice match for Maya. There were a few Suzuki teachers in the area, and we went around to interview a few of them, and pretty much knew right away when we met Corinne and her sister that we had found a match, and we noticed something different about them than the other teachers. Their attention to detail, what they were looking for in parents, kind of matched what we were looking for in a teacher, which was somebody that was going to push our daughter, that had expectations, I guess. What we liked about Corinne was that she had expectations and wasn't just looking for a student.
When we came, I just really was surprised at just the level of playing you were able to achieve so quickly. You were doing solid technique, and it was just a positive environment. You were able to learn a lot more, a lot faster. You had a repertoire behind you instead of just learning one piece and then moving on and sure, let's forget it. You were able to keep all of it within your memory. You memorized everything and you reviewed it, and it was just a really positive experience.
In our studio, the students receive private lessons as well as group lessons. When students attend group, they learn how to listen to one another and blend. They learn how to play as an ensemble and not stick out as a soloist. We also provide opportunities for our students to learn chamber music and encourage them to participate in their local youth symphonies. In addition to our recitals, we also look for opportunities where our students can perform in other public events. Oftentimes, parents equate the level of progress with which piece their child is on, rather than how well do they play each piece. Parents also need to realize that the rate of progress for their child heavily depends on the daily listening to the reference recordings.
The parent is first and foremost responsible for putting on the reference recordings and allowing the children to hear them day in and day out.
Some teachers focus on rushing their students through the books and neglect the review process. I feel that review is extremely important as it helps a student develop and refine techniques such as dynamics, bow hold, hand position, etc.
Dr. Suzuki was always very big on review because he believed that with an old piece that has become easy, we can incorporate new techniques instead of applying new techniques to a new piece.
I'm thankful that in this studio that they do review with my children. I think I've seen a huge difference in their progress and in their technical skills.
As we teach these children how to work through difficult passages, we are helping them learn to overcome obstacles. They're not just learning lessons in music, they're learning lessons for life.
We had an opportunity to go to Suzuki Institute this summer, and one of the things we noticed right away was the level of student that Corinne has is pretty special, pretty unique. We noticed that there's more attention to detail. It's not just about being able to play songs as being able to play them well.
One of Dr. Suzuki's greatest desires was to create beautiful hearts through music. We will be forever grateful to him for the wonderful legacy of music he left behind. We feel it is our responsibility to share this gift of music with others.